the influence that he's having globally, and just your thoughts on the Black militia, period. So to turn the show over to Grandmaster Jay. Shalom, sir.
Shalom, Mr. Sister. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
We're still black.
That's right.
And won't wash off, and that's a good thing.
That's a great thing.
Let me get my mic right here. First of all, I'm glad to be back here. I'm glad that we can sit down again and have another dialogue, because I know that the audience is global. Yep. It's not just folks in your neck of the woods. It's not just folks in the United States. There are folks around the world that have joined in with the movement. I call it a movement because movement consists of action. Movement is not just singing and holding hands and saying that everything's going to be okay. No, a movement goes from one place to another, and when we're done, it should look differently. So we have moved everything on the chessboard, and it looks like the consensus is that melanated people around the world, no matter what type of oppression, depression, or systematic racism they're facing, we're tired. And now we're tired of talking about it. We're ready to be about it, and that's one of the reasons why the NFAC and the entire pro-Black Pan-African movement and all of the other movements that have come into alignment have all agreed that we're on one accord. And that's what you're seeing. So I'm glad to be here to talk to you, talk to your audience. We're on the other side of the world. We're on the countdown clock.
I know.
We're watching and waiting. There are things happening that we can talk about a little later, but I'm still in your area because Louisville needs to stay close to us.
It's across the river.
Across the river.
As we say.
And the NFAC is, we want to make sure that we can get to them real quick.
That's right. Justice for Breonna Taylor. Keep your eyes on Bree, all eyes on Bree.
All eyes on Bree.
So that's the phrase that you clone. So for those of you who don't know, a lot of people do know, I actually was able to make it to the formation in Louisville. And I had to, I had to see for myself, right? So I'm listening, I'm on the morning mentals, I'm listening. I'm like, okay. But let me see for myself, really. So I go down to Louisville, and the first feeling that came over me was, I don't know if it was pride or if it was security first. Maybe they came together. It was one of the most proud moments that I've had as a Black woman in almost 50 years on this earth. And I can say that because I was there. It's not something I read in a book. It's not something somebody told me or that I saw live streamed. I was there. And so I think that a lot of the really impactful moments were happening on the sidelines. The Black Vietnam veterans that were there just playing the back, just making sure everything was everything, dropping knowledge to the young people that wanted to listen and that were yearning for the knowledge. The elderly woman that I saw, she was in her 80s, almost 90 years old, and her family said that she insisted on being brought out because she had never witnessed anything like that in her life. And I saw a tear drop down that woman's face. I was standing right there. So,
let me piggyback on you because I saw some of those incidents. There was a 90-year-old man who was on oxygen, who insisted that his son bring him oxygen bottle and all down there to witness this. He said he wanted to see this before he left this earth, that he would rest comfortably in glory, knowing that he did not leave behind a group of people that wouldn't fight back.
Yep.
There were other folks that came down. It was real funny to me because a lot of times the kids were the ones who came down to see me, but their parents were more, like, okay, good, you led me to him, move out the way. Yeah, I just want to come let you know. And I think that what's happened is there's been an awakening across the spectrum of our people. It has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with the NFAC. It has to do with the soul of what I call the Black community. And when I say the Black community, I don't just mean the particular group that you see in your lane. I mean all of us that are connected through the melanin, that feel it within our spirit when the timing is right, when something is happening with us. And it's like a vibe. If you feel it, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't feel it, well, we got to question your lack of melanin. But at the end of the day, all of the melanin folks felt that, and that's what they needed to see, because they could not believe that there couldn't be those of us who wouldn't get vocal anymore beyond talking, that there still had to be a remnant of the warrior spirit within our race. And they wanted to see that before they left. And their children who've heard these old stories, most folks need to understand something. Let me say this on your show.
Okay.
Listen, you all can sit around and be judgmental and have opinions. That's your right. That's what this country's made on. But what you cannot do is you cannot point to a frame of reference of anyone that has undertaken this type of venture in the last 60 years. We're talking back to the Civil Rights Movement. We're talking about when you had the Black Panthers and you had the Deacons of Defense and you had all these different groups. Well, a lot of young kids today hear those stories. Yes, we hear the stories. Yes, we do Black History Month. Yes, we do Kwanzaa. Yes, they teach us this. Yes, they're always telling us about the great thing. But we still see the poison that's left over from that era. Where is the vaccine for this era? When do we see our Stokely? Where is our Malcolm? Who's going to step to this animal? And now they're seeing it. And it's like for a lot of them, it clicks now. They understand that you had to be there.
Yeah.
You had to be in the moment. This is a great time to be alive. If you're alive right now, and that's why a lot of folks who lived through the 60s are like, seen this before. Know how this go. Yeah. And a lot of young cats are like, I ain't never seen nothing like this, and I'm going to say this, then I'm going to take my seat and yield the rest of my time. There's never been anything like this. They tried to compare it to things that happened prior, and it eclipsed it. There has never been this large a mobilization of Black people planet-wide on one accord for the people, by the people, ever. And they've admitted to that. So because you've never seen it before, because they've never seen it before, a lot of people don't know how to respond. Some people are suspicious. Some people are downright hateful. Some people are downright afraid. Then you've got some people who are consumed with jealousy, envy, all these negative emotions that we've been socialized to do to ourselves, to hate on each other. So, but the truth is, you've never seen this before. So you just can't jump behind it. I understand that, but we have a saying. We going one way or the other. We going with you or without you. But you might as well come on and go with us because we're going.
Right. I think and maybe I shouldn't be disheartened or I shouldn't even be surprised about it, is because like you said, we've never seen anything like this before. So, I mean, you spoke to the young people and how they felt. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm 49 years old and I have always lamented the fact that I wasn't around in the 60s because I always felt like my spirit belonged there. I always felt like I missed my opportunity to really make that mark. And so when my brother Malachi Luciano, shout out to him, told me I was doing a podcast and he kept on saying, you need to check out Grandmaster Jay. What you saying is what Grandmaster Jay is saying. You need to check out NFAC. And I'm like, okay, we were on live. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go check it out. And I went on live and checked it out. And since then, I said, I see what you're saying. And now I don't feel left behind. I don't feel like my time has passed. I feel like that this is the time to not only make change, make long-lasting and impactful change. Not saying that the strides that were gained through the 60s and up until now weren't long-lasting and impactful, but we keep having to fight them same battles. So something, you see what I'm saying? Something is amiss. We keep having to fight the exact same battles. So I feel like in a way that the problem should be a little different if you want to measure success. That's just my own opinion about it. What do you think about it?
Let me counter that.
Okay.
First of all, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. If you're having the same problem over and over again, then you have not addressed the original problem. The civil rights struggle of the 60s was to get us the right to be treated as an equal human being. But they gave us that, but they did not give us what we deserved. They did not give us economic freedom. They did not give us political freedom. They did not give us the ability to determine our own destiny as a people. They gave us the right to sit next to them at a lunch counter, take a piss beside them in a toilet. I'm going to keep it 100 with you. Yeah. That's not freedom. That's peaceful coexistence. In the meantime, they maintained all of the wealth, maintained control of all of the laws, maintained control of housing, education. They even controlled where we could live and where we could develop. And when we got too big, they tore it down. And then they systematically started destroying our structure because they realized